Anyway, but then we got serious. They said this is as close as we've ever been to Osama bin Laden. Then we were serious. No high-fiving, none of that. Just, can we go now? And we met the teams, the girl that found him and all that stuff. Trained for a few days and then went to Afghanistan and waited for the green light, which we got, and then we launched. And we had come up with the perfect plan, rehearsed the perfect plan, 90-minute flight that we should die on, how we're going to take the house down. We've done this hundreds of times, so shouldn't be a big deal. What's the worst thing that could happen, though? Someone said helicopter could crash in the front yard, so that happened. So we started off with a helicopter in the front yard. The pilot did it to save everyone.
So you had 2 helicopters. How many guys flew in that mission?
23.
23 guys, so split evenly on each helicopter?
Yeah, and then Cairo, the dog, was there too.
And Cairo, the dog.
Mm-hmm. And so our plan, we were going to put guys down right in front of bin Laden's house, fast rope, everybody out. My team was going to drop snipers and a dog outside, and then my team's going to the roof, and then we're going to get them that way. And that didn't happen. We were going to die as soon as the house blows up when we got on top. We were actually calling ourselves the Martyrs Brigade. Like, this is it. But the reason that we were going...
So you guys thought you were going to die?
We knew we were going to die. Shot down on the way in. Immediate fight when we get there. House-borne IED. We're going to run out of fuel and then end our short lives in a Pakistani prison or shoot it out with a pack mill until we're all dead.
Because it's not like you could have gotten... You didn't get air clearance, right? You weren't going to give anyone a hint because...
There's nowhere to go. You got nothing. Yeah. But we accepted it because... And we talked about this. I had a guy ask me, I'm going. I just need to say it out loud. If we know we're going to die, why are we going? Which is fair. And we said, we're not going after bin Laden for the fame or for the money. We're going after Osama bin Laden for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday. And then 45 minutes later, she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper because that's a better alternative than whatever in the hell is going on inside at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. And her last gesture of human decency was to hold her skirt down, and she killed herself. She was never supposed to be in the fight. We're supposed to be in the fight. That's where we're going.
When you guys got there, when you guys arrived there, though, did you know he was in the building?
I was 100% sure he was in the building because of the woman that found him. She was certain. We'd get done with those training days, long days of training on the site, long hours at night talking over a model. And right before, we get a couple hours of sleep, she would say, all right, guys, great day of training. Osama bin Laden is in the 3rd floor of this building right now. I don't know why we're not going. Good night. She, certain, but yeah. But then, we were to the point where there was no fear involved with this mission because we accept death. This is what we came to do. And then you get in there, everything's wrong. I didn't know the helicopter crashed until I got inside the building and someone told me the helicopter crashed. And I said, what helicopter crashed? And he said, our helicopter crashed in the front yard. Like, he walked right past it. And I'm like, well, I was looking this way or something because there's bin Laden's house. And then as we're doing that, the tail of the helicopter was over the fence. And the sniper with the dog, they were doing a loop to make sure no one escaped. And he came over the radio and said, hey, guys inside, be on alert. They're definitely ready for us because they have a training mock-up of our super secret helicopter in the front yard. And the boss came over and said, no, jackass, that's ours because we crashed. And he said, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than the shit I was just saying, doesn't it? Weird stuff happens in dark moments. But yeah, we did that. Got in there, and then we went up the stairs. The woman told us Khalid bin Laden, who was his son, would be on this set of stairs, which he was. The point man killed him. We walked around him. We're down to 2 guys now going up the last set of stairs, looking up a curtain. And so there was some movement behind it. I was the number 2 man. The point man's in front of me. And he was telling me, now we got to go because he could see movement. He's thinking those are the suicide bombers, but we can beat them if we go now. We have to go now because they're getting ready. And I had no one behind me. I was like, well, I guess this is it. And I wasn't being brave. It was more of I'm going to blow up now and I'm tired of thinking about it. Let's just get it over with. And I squeezed him. We went up and he went through this curtain, tackled these people. And because he went here, I have to cover his back. I went this way. There's Osama bin Laden 3 feet away, standing on 2 feet.
Did you see him clearly?
Yeah, I recognized his nose, his beard, how tall he was, how skinny he was, everything about him. And he's not surrendering. He's a threat, so I got to take him down. And if you're dealing with a suicide bomber, which he should have been, you shoot him in the face. And I shot him in the face twice and then once more on the ground. And then that's it. And then, we're moving his wife to the bed. His 2-year-old son was there. And for me, as a father, it was like, this kid has nothing to do with this. It's just humanity. Then I'm standing there. I can hear Osama bin Laden taking his last breaths. And I'm sort of stunned, and a buddy came up because there's more Navy SEALs in the room now. My buddy came up and said, are you okay? And I said, no, what do we do now? And he smiled and said, now we find the computers. Like, we do this every night. Hundreds of times you've done this. And I said, yeah, you're right. I'm back. Holy shit. And he said, yeah, you just killed Osama bin Laden. Your life just changed. Get to work.
Wow.
So that's
Getting
it.
computers is gathering all the intel.
Anything
in the
you can
house
find,
and-
anything electronic, CDs, and we found heroin. You can only fit so much of that in your cargo pocket.
Right.
Joking. Seriously. But yeah, anything that might have a list of names, pictures, anything. And there was so much stuff there. It would have been nice to have Pakistan actually be an ally, because we should have stayed in that house for at least a week gathering all that, because he was running the whole show from there. We got as much as we could though when we left. Another helicopter came in and flew us out, and then we had 90 minutes to survive getting shot down.
And where was the safe haven where you guys were going, where it would be safe?
Afghanistan, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that was actually weird that because we're flying back and we have 90 minutes, and worrying about something that is not, your worry's not going to affect, you're wasting your energy. So worrying about a missile is not going to stop it. So just chill, right? So we started our watches and we're counting it down. 90 minutes we got to get, and you're looking at your friends. I got the sniper from rescuing Captain Phillips sitting next to me. He actually gave me a Copenhagen. Looking at my guys, and then, it's been 10 minutes. It's been 20, it's been 30 minutes. Now it's been 40 minutes. It's been 50 minutes. We got to get to 90 minutes, and you start thinking about watching a no-hitter. Like, I'm not going to say anything. Motherfuckers pitching a no-hitter. 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes. Then, like the sports analogies with Lake Placid when the American hockey team beat the Russians, and you can hear them counting down. If you look it up on YouTube, like 10, 9, 8. And then the pilot came over the radio and said, for the first time in your life, gentlemen, you're going to be happy to hear this. Welcome to Afghanistan. And that's the end of the mission. And then we showed them, and
which would no longer
That's
be the
crazy.
case today.
No, it wouldn't be safe haven. I'd rather stay in Pakistan.
And I remember getting there,
Mhm.
and like I didn't understand like how much of a whole thing it was going to be.
What do you mean?
Like there was thousands of people at this thing.
Like auditioning?
Yeah, dude. I thought it would be like you go in, there's like 100 people there, dude, that kind of are serious about what's going on. It was a clown show, dude. There was like thousands of people in here.
Who was like the hosts of the show?
Well, at that time, it was not. This is like just a big
Just
cattle
audition,
call.
okay.
Like you're before you even the TV thing,
Right.
and so it's like I get there, I'm like I'm by myself at this thing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what am I doing at this thing, man? Like this is just outrageous, man. Like I'm totally.
Why? 'Cause it's
wasting
just
my
such a
time.
shit show, or
It was so big. I'm like, what are the odds of any like me even making it to the table at this
Yeah.
deal? So I wait in line hours and hours and hours and hours. It's like a convention center, dude. And there's like people singing, dude, and they're singing Lion King, and everybody's singing together, dude. And I'm sitting there like, oh, dude, this is like a nightmare.
are you like
You not like the Lion King soundtrack? Because I think
do
there's some
like I
bangers
do
on there.
appreciate it, but like in a group setting where there's strangers,
Yeah.
like forcibly singing the Lion King soundtrack.
Lion King has
you're
some
like,
fire
Well, it sounds like
songs.
you were intimidated.
It does.
No chance, dude.
Yeah,
I remember
like, really
this
good.
girl sitting beside me, and she was like, "Do you think you're gonna make it?" And I was like, "If you even have to ask yourself if you're gonna make it, then you've like just leave already."
Boy, does she feel stupid now.
No,
Yeah.
it's like I get it, but like I had so much confidence going in, but it was also like, this is ridiculous. So we wait for hours, and it's like they call my row. It's like 10 people at a time go. We go up the escalator, and it's just another waiting room of like, and I'm like, oh my god, this never ends, dude. And we go in front of this guy. Finally, there's 10 of us. They take people 10 at a time. There's like 10 rooms with producers in each one for the show. And essentially you go in and stand in like a photo lineup almost. And they go, okay, sing.
Like
sing.
dance,
And
muggy dance.
kind of, right. And so it's like
Like one at a time, or all
one
just
at
in
a
a
time,
okay.
one at a time. And then like I sing.
It's like
I was the only guy in there, so it was me and like 9 chicks in there singing. There was older, like, because the voice, American Idol had like limits, like on age limits and stuff, but the voice was like anybody could go in there. So everyone sings, and this guy's like, all right, everybody, thanks for coming. And I'm like, dude, I totally wasted my whole day being at this thing. And then right when we're about to leave, he's like, oh, you can stay.
What did you sing?
I sang, I think I sang Save Room for My Love by John Legend.
Can you give us a little preview? No, I'm just kidding.
I could.
I mean,
John Legend.
man, if we had to
John
try right
Legend.
now.
That's
John
why'd you
Legend.
pick that?
Because I was good at it.
So that was
You
a
know?
practice one.
Yeah, it was just, and then I get up and it's like, I finished the deal, and then I go in. So they made me stay. I had to stay in Atlanta at this time. So I'm missing a day of class now because I'm like, oh, this will be a 1-day deal. Go into the next, there's another audition now. And then I sing, I tell them I want to do like a country song. And they're like, oh, well, you didn't sing country before. And I'm like, well, so I have to sing like one kind of.
That's
The
kind of
show was
bullshit.
just about being a singer, like the whole. Thing
That's
was
so
like,
but that's showing you're versatile. You could do multiple genres.
right, but it's like there's got to be some sort of angle. So essentially, I got a letter
that.
back after the next audition,
Yeah.
which I made it through, and then they told me essentially like I was too boring to like be on television.
So you didn't win this thing?
I didn't make it
No.
on the auditions. I didn't make
What?
it to the show.
Wait, that's crazy.
So I still have the letter in storage that's like, you're a great singer, but like, so essentially it becomes about ratings, right?
They fucked you then.
The voice
What-
kinda
what
sucks.
network? The voice sucks. Fuck
but
it.
it's not
American
like,
Idol's better, I think.
I can't blame
No,
them.
actually, which one? Did you make off well with the movie or no? Did you because I saw a lawsuit or something? Did you file a lawsuit against?
I
the,
did. So,
yeah?
well, that's a different story. So I did well with the movie in the beginning, but it's not really what you make on a movie. It's what it does for you branding wise, right? And the movie became this ultimate cult hit. What I sued them for is because, believe it or not, is the guys that financed the movie were the guys that stole all that money from Malaysia. They stole like $3 billion. It was the biggest crime in history, a $3 billion theft from the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund, courtesy of Goldman Sachs. There's no great crime without Goldman Sachs having at least their finger in it, right? And it was this guy Jolo and Reza Aziz. And it was he was the prime minister's son. And they financed the movie, and then they all turned out the money was all stolen. Then, one of them is still on the lam. He's changed his face, Jolo. Changed his face. You could be Jolo, by the way. You're not Jolo, are you?
I don't think so.
I don't think you don't think so, right? So Jolo is on the lam still. What happened is the way it works is I ended up getting back the rights to docuseries, which I'm going to be doing this year, probably with Netflix, and also the Broadway show, which is really cool, which I'll do at one point, when the time is right and Broadway opens up again, right? That'll be great. A musical for The Wolf of Wall Street. But they have the TV rights and I get a royalty. So I can't do the TV rights without them. Now, at this point, every network would bid for the TV rights to The Wolf of Wall Street, but they don't want to be involved at all because they want to make believe this never happened. They're trying to hide. So they're trying to squash any usage of the rights. And when I sold them the rights, it was the anticipation that obviously that they would try to exploit the rights and so forth. And so I'm suing them to get those rights back.
Was the movie misleading at all? Like, what was the most misleading scene that you're like, that didn't happen? They made me look like a fucking asshole.
And when I punched my wife in the stomach at the end, that never happened. In fact, like we actually, when the movie came out, they called me first. Like, so I can't blame Leo. Like they asked me for permission to do it. Like Leo called and goes, listen, I want to do something. I think it's going to really, make it dramatic and it's not great for you. He goes, but just, trust me, you're going to come out looking great in the movie. And he was right. And he goes, but I, punch your wife and punch, your wife in the stomach, whatever, in a moment. And after I snorted all this coke and all of that's fiction, because what happened was I got sober 18 months prior to getting arrested. So like they had me like relapsing after I get arrested and going crazy and punching her. So the timeline's all off, and I never punched her, right? So when the movie came out, my ex and I took the kids together to a private screening. And we're like, listen, that never happened. So we kind of told. So yeah, that was. It didn't really bother me. It really didn't bother me actually because I knew it wasn't true, right? And my kids know it's not true. There was a bunch of things that were like most of the stuff that wasn't true was mostly that it was the timeline was off. Like a lot of things were collapsed. Like for example, at the end of the movie, like they asked me to cooperate, which I did. Right, and I was cooperating with the government, but I wasn't against my friends, and they wanted me to rat out my friend, and I refused to cooperate against my friend. I slipped my friend a note. Right, don't incriminate yourself. Right, so I was like, yeah, I'll cooperate against people, but not my buddies. Right, that was my mindset. Like I'll tell them where the money is. I'll show them what happened. But I didn't think I had to wire up against one of my closest friends. So when I was faced with that moment, you can't say no. But I slipped him a note saying, don't incriminate yourself.
And you guys were like out to lunch or something?
Yeah, at a dinner, and they were outside in a van. And at the time, interestingly, I was like, man, that makes me I'm a stand-up guy. It was the stupidest thing I ever did in my fucking life because he turned me in. The guy who I tried to protect ended up turning me in, and he gave the note he got in trouble like 6 months later, and he had saved the note and gave it to the FBI, and I almost did 30 years for that.
Really?
I got very lucky. The FBI agent took my side. He's a crazy. We're friends today, the FBI agent and he stopped them from breaking my agreement because I had a cooperation agreement. But like when it came to cooperating against my friends, I didn't cooperate, so they could have broke it because it was supposed to be for everyone. You can't pick and choose. I'll cooperate with him and not with him. You get it? So I had this sort of moral line, like, well, I'll cooperate.